At the risk of sounding way older than I actually am, I need to put this out there. Back in my day, being a Kage used to mean something. Alright, you look at some of the Kages across Boruto, I can't respect their claims. The Mizu Kage, he was a chump in Shippuden. The Tsuchi Kage, she was a chump in Shippuden. Darui, the Raikage, no disrespect my brother, but you are not Killer B. You're not A. I don't respect your claim to Raikage. The Hokage position in the Hidden Leaf Village, if Naruto and Sasuke are gone, ooh, the candidates, you won't be, Shino, Shikamaru, Kiba. We are in a universe where Kiba has a real chance of being a Kage in a post-Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura universe. I can't afford to live like this. We need to scour another timeline, go to a whole different universe. In this case, I'm going to Naruto's biggest rival, but also Naruto's biggest friend in One Piece to find a suitable successor. One of these One Piece characters gotta be able to be Hokage, and I gotta find him or her and get them on this throne. Now, to find the perfect One Piece character for the job, I have to set some criteria so we know who we can narrow this down to. First thing, strength is not necessarily the most important factor. I know I just disrespected Kiba and Shino for not being strong enough or respectable enough to have the job, but strength is not going to be the most important thing here. I'm not just looking for the strongest One Piece characters here. I'll explain why later, but Kaido and Whitebeard have already been disqualified. They can't get this role, they're not suited for it. All the Usopps of the One Piece world can rejoice that strength is not the deciding factor here. But also, I need you to be stronger than Usopp. When you look through the list of names that have attacked the Hidden Leaf Village, you got the Nine Tails, Orochimaru, Pain, Madara, Sasuke. Alright, you have to be somewhat strong now, don't get me wrong. I need you to be there to protect the village. Leads me to my next point. I need to find a One Piece character that would be willing to give up their life for the Hidden Leaf Village. Every Hokage is willing to sacrifice themselves when it comes down to saving this village. The third and the fourth gave up their souls using the Reaper Death Seal to save the village. Tsunade was draining her own life force to save people during the Pain Invasion arc. I need someone in One Piece that is willing to do the same for this village if it comes to it. You take that description, and some of you might be thinking already, Luffy's the perfect guy. Luffy's always sacrificing himself. Luffy's always saving different islands. But Luffy does not fit the other criteria because Luffy is not responsible enough to be the Hokage. Luffy wants to be the Pirate King because that's the freest man in the world. The Hokage might be the polar opposite of that. The Hokage has all kinds of responsibilities and obligations they have to attend to for the Hidden Leaf Village to stay up. And I don't believe for a single second that Luffy would sit in that office and sign those stacks of papers that Naruto does all day. I don't think Nami could beat Luffy enough to get him to sit in that office all day. The Hokage is too tied down. A free spirit like Luffy can't do it. So I'm looking for a hero then, right? I need someone strong and mature enough to handle it, but I also want someone willing to make the sacrifice for the job. But I'm not willing to write off all the antagonists of the One Piece world just yet, because if you look at someone like Akainu, I don't see why he doesn't also fit that description. When you look at how far Akainu went at Marineford, I think it's fair to say if he was there during a Nine Tails attack, he would be willing to sacrifice himself to save the village. Akainu is a Marine though. He's still technically one of the good guys. I'm not writing off the bad guys either. Doflamingo might be a little too evil for the job, but morality is flexible when it comes to this Hokage position. I want you to remember, Danzo was a Kage. Alright, they elected Danzo to step up to fit that role. Tobirama was a Hokage, the second one. As prejudiced as he was against the Uchihas, they still let that man run the village. I'm not trying to find Superman right now. You don't have to stand for truth, justice, and the American way to be the Hokage. I need you to get this job done. I'm flexible with the morality of these characters, so let's take that along with my other criteria and see if we can look through the groups in One Piece to find that right guy for the job, starting with the Yonkos, because I've already disqualified half of them. The reason I've disqualified Kaido is because I've seen the way he runs Wano. The people are enslaved, he's poisoning the land, he's using the country to push his own goals. As bad as Danzo was, he still wanted what was best for the Hidden Leaf Village. For that reason, I also have to disqualify people like Big Mom, Crocodile, and Doflamingo. They're all doing the same thing, if not worse, on their respective islands. I don't want them anywhere near the Hidden Leaf. I'm not taking Whitebeard for a multitude of reasons, one of which being he's old. No disrespect, Whitebeard, but if I'm taking anyone in One Piece, I would like someone still relatively in their prime. Also, your current medical status brings a lot of uncertainty to the Hidden Leaf that I can't accept right now. Furthermore, I'm questioning your skills as a leader. You're loved on your crew. Your father Whitebeard, Papa Whitebeard, I get all of that. But the way you handled the Blackbeard Ace situation wouldn't fly in Konoha. Blackbeard off Thatch in his sleep. One of his brothers, one of his crewmates, took him out in his sleep and then ran off with a prized possession. Whitebeard say, let it go. Ace trying to go after him. Whitebeard saying, nah man, it's over. No! If we get a rogue ninja in the Hidden Leaf, you need to send somebody after him. When Ace decided to go anyway, you let him go alone. Send Jozu, send Marco, go with him, take the crew. I can't agree with his decision making. I don't think he needs to be at the Hokage of my village. Since we're talking about Blackbeard, I'm not going to rule him out just yet. I know he's a snake in a turncloak, but look at Orochimaru. He got Hokage considerations at one point. Snakes can get far in the Hidden Leaf Village. Danzo was a Kage. I'm pointing it out again. Blackbeard might be an option we fall back on. I know Blackbeard don't play about his crew. You touch a member of the Blackbeard Pirates, ask Sabo how quick we get back to you. Ultimately, Blackbeard is seeking the same kind of freedom that Luffy is. For that reason, he might be too unpredictable. But I'm still willing to fall back on him if worst comes to worst. Shanks and by extension Mihawk are also two people I'm keeping my eyes on. They're also unpredictable, don't know if they're willing to do the job, but the same way Minato grew into the position, I think they would do it as well. Let's look at some of the warlords, the ones that I haven't already disqualified. And first of all, Jinbei, absolutely not. I don't want that fish man anywhere near the Hokage hat or robes. Banish Jinbei to the Hidden Mist Village. And no, don't put him in the Hidden Cloud. I'm not associating Jinbei with those beautiful black people in the Hidden Cloud Village. Get that fish man out of here. I'm also not taking Moria. He has too much hate, too much trauma. We have way better options. I did consider Boa a little bit, but she's a little too bossy. If things aren't going her way, she's not gonna like it. The village needs to have a little bit of compromise. It can't just be whatever Boa wants. Also, she'd kick out all the men, which could prove to be problematic because we lose a lot of very splendid ninja. And then if you look at Kuma, he might be a great sleeper pick. You can't question his dedication. If we can transfer his loyalties from the Revolutionary Army to the Hidden Leaf, he really could be a good guy. He'd go the distance for the village for sure. Responsible guy, he does his job. He does it to the best of his abilities. He'll go overboard for you. I'm really not hating on Kuma right now. I like it. If we move on to the worst generation, a lot of these guys are afterthoughts. We can do better than Bonnie, X-Drake, Beji. Hawkins is a real weirdo, and Apu is a snake. Nah, we can do better than all of them. Killer and Uru, nah, we're cool off them. We have better choices. Kid is too destructive, too evil, too hateful. Nah, we don't want him. Law and Zoro are the only two members of the worst generation that I would seriously consider, and ultimately I think Zoro would be completely uninterested in a job. He can get serious. When he puts his foot down, he can put his mind to stuff, and he's a great leader. He has all the traits. Nothing happened what he did for Luffy. He could do the same for the village for sure. I just don't think he'd care enough to actually be the Kage. La is someone I'm going to keep my eyes on. He's intelligent, he's got the strength, I can trust him to get the job done. Problem is, La is a bit on the young side. He's not really in his prime yet. If he was a bit older, maybe closer towards the end of One Piece, that version of La would make a really good Kage. But for right now, I think we can do a little bit better if we start looking elsewhere. I know the Straw Hats are going to be popular choices, but as much as I like them, I just don't see any of them fitting. Nami not strong enough, Usopp not strong enough, Chopper, you my dog, but you're an animal, Brook, you my dog, but you're a skeleton, Frankie, you're my dog, but you're a robot. Robin's a good choice, but I think she's entirely uninterested in running a country. And then you have Sanji, whose obsession with women will drive the Hidden Leaf Village down a terrible, terrible path. Can't take any of the Straw Hats, unfortunately. I do, however, have a couple of good candidates from the Marines. Already told you about Akainu, I think he's a good one. Kizaru would be in that same group, but he's a bit too lazy. I don't want him leading a country. And Aokiji also could be in that same group, but I have to call his loyalties into question. He has ties to some very shady pirate groups. I can't trust Aokiji with the keys to the Leaf Village. Only one of those guys I'm taking is Akainu. Garp and Sengoku both have upside. Problem is, Garp is a bit too carefree. I don't know if I necessarily want him leading a village. I don't think he'd care enough. And then you have Sengoku, who is happily in retirement. He's at the tail end of his career. It's not right to put him in that Hokage seat at this stage of his life. Smoker would never get serious consideration. That boy is trash. Imagine him trying to save the village during the Konoha Crush arc. He would have lost 4 fights before he made it to Orochimaru, and then he would have lost to Orochimaru again. Smoker is out. Fujitora is a name that I am seriously looking at and considering though. He's strong, he's a bit old, but he's still in the prime of his life, fighting hard at a high level. He has a code, things he won't do, lines he won't cross. He's strict, but he's fair. He follows orders, but he also has his own interpretations. He's a good guy in a corrupt system. You put him in the Hokage wheel, give him the seats, I think he would actually want what's best for the Leaf. I would like to give an honorable mention to Kobe the same way he wants to be a fleet admiral. I think he would make for a good Hokage one day after he's gotten more experience. He got a little stronger. End of series Kobe could be a good choice, but as of right now, I'm not picking him. There's just a lot of people in One Piece you could choose from. Oda has created about 1,200, probably even more characters. People I haven't even talked about yet, like Dragon and the Revolutionaries, could be your choice. I'm not gonna pick them, but I have narrowed it down to these final 5. Kainu, Fujitora, Shanks, Mihawk, and Kuma. I have to narrow the 5 down somehow, so this is where we get nitpicky. Akainu, your brand of justice might be a little too strict for the Leaf Village. Your politics might not work in this setting. You remind me a lot of Toby Rama. Akainu in charge could potentially lead to another Uchiha clan massacre. He's the only one on this list that I would fear something like that happening to. So Akainu, as good a choice as you might be, I'm scratching you out. Shanks and Mihawk, I like both of y'all too. You're the Minatos of this group to me. Y'all fit in that category, but I have to say, you're Rolling Stones. Could I really see them setting down in the Leaf Village and governing that country? Shanks never stays anywhere for long. Mihawk's always stretching his legs. He's always on the move. Also, we've seen what Mihawk did with the Warlord title. He doesn't really follow orders. I'm gonna take those 2 names off of it too. So at the end of it all, my final 2 options, Fujitora and Kuma, which one would make the best Hokage? Fujitora, you're a bit old, but otherwise, you fit the criteria perfectly. A strong man of honor that I know will give his all to protect the village. Kuma, again, an all-around great choice. You fit all the criteria perfectly. I just don't know if your allegiances could lie to the Hidden Leaf Village. I really can't question his loyalty when I know he's loyal, but we don't know too much about you, Kuma. We don't know why you stand for what you stand for. We don't know what you believe in. For that reason, I have to go with the one that has the least amount of doubt. Fujitora would be the One Piece character that would be the best Hokage in my opinion. Let's give a round of applause to Fujitora, man. It was not easy to come up to this conclusion. I look forward to seeing what conclusions you all come up to. Maybe y'all have a different criteria for the Hokage position than I do. Maybe you see some of these characters differently. If you think Doflamingo would be perfect, tell me. Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and all that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you all see the thought process I went through on this, man. But ultimately, I'm gonna catch up with y'all. Let's clap it up for our new Hokage, Fujitora, man. Hey, I'm gonna catch up with y'all young dogs later. Ah ha ha.